Thursday night YouTube Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and see who we have on. We'll wait a minute or two to get started, just to give people a chance to find us. And then I've got a cute little treat box for you tonight. I'm using the Festive Friends bundle. This is a stamp and die set. Of course, you can buy them separately. If you buy them in a bundle, you save 10% off of the combined total of the two items. And there we go. Now I've got the chat up. There we go. Good deal. All right. Pretty sure I'm in the right spot tonight. So let's wait just 1 minute. It's exactly 7 o'clock. I must have went live about 30 seconds early. Hello, Laura. Thanks for joining. Okay. So this is our stamp set. In addition to this, I'm going to be using the Magic and Hope stamp set for this small little sentiment, but of course you could use whatever you want that will fit your design. And of course, what we're about to make can be used for any occasion simply by changing stamp sets and colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We do not need a bunch of supplies. We've got a piece of thick basic white cardstock, and this is cut at 4 inches by 9 inches. And then from the Festive Friends tags, or bundle here, the dies, I've cut 2 of the tags. This one right here in the thick basic white. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's get our stamping done. We're going to bring in a piece of, this doesn't really feel like, these don't, yeah, I'm not sure. This is definitely basic white. So we're going to stamp the little elf from Festive Friends. And I'm going to use my stamp positioning tool because I can. I'm just going to put this in here. Let me get some Memento Tuxedo Black. I just want this to be nice and dark. And this gives me an opportunity to stamp it a second time if it's not as dark or as crisp as I like. The Stamparatus is retired, I'm sorry, but you can use any stamp positioning tool. There are many on the market. Okay, so there's our little elf guy. And let's go ahead, let me clean that off real quick, just so I don't have a mess. Okay. And we'll set that aside. And then we're going to stamp in Pretty Peacock this fir tree. And this tree, unfortunately, does not have a die. So you either have to stamp that directly on your tag or fussy cut it. And crazy me, I fussy cut it. So let's go ahead. We've got one more piece to stamp, and then the stamping's done. I'm going to set those aside for a minute, and I'm going to bring in this small little strip of basic white, and I'm going to take the Real Red ink and the word Noel from Hope and Magic and Hope. And I'm just going to stamp this down here. Set it down gently, because if you press too hard, then you muddy up the font. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this in my trimmer. I want this to be fairly small. So I'm just going to put this in my trimmer and line that up and then turn it around. That's the one thing I like about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. You can pretty easily cut short little pieces, thin little pieces of paper. Okay, so we've got that. And now I'm going to bring in the 3 banner punch. This is a November online exclusive that will release to the public on Tuesday, November 4th. And I'm just going to put that in there, line it up as best I can there, and banner that end. And then I'm just going to snip this end. How about right there? Okay, let's go a little bit shorter. There we go. So now our sentiment is ready to go. Let's put that aside. Try not to lose it. And let's color our little elf. So I'm going to bring in some Stampin' Blends. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. And thanks to all of you that haven't actually said hello that are there. And we're going to start with Shy Shamrock. We're going to start with the dark. And I'm going to flick a little bit of color up here on his hat. And then here where there are the creases. And then we're going to go to Shy Shamrock Light. And I'm going to go over that dark Shy Shamrock just a little bit, just to blend those colors in. Okay. And then for his jacket here, I'm going to put a little dark here along the shoulders where there would be a shadow, down the edge here, and then just a tiny bit there. Okay. Then we're going to go back with the light, blend those together. Okay. And then we'll go to the dark again, put a little bit of shadow here on his boots or pants, whatever those are. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't do his sleeves here. Forgot those. Better get that done. And then we're going to go back and fill those in. Okay. So there we have that. And then I'm just going to take the bullet tip of the dark and color in that button. Okay, so now what we have left, let's do his hair. I'm going to use light lemon lolly. And I'm just going to dab some color in here. Then we're going to take light flirty flamingo. I'm going to take the bullet tip. I'm going to put in some rosy little cheeks and a rosy little nose. And then I'm going to fill that in with the ivory. So we'll just do his little face here. Okay, so we've got that. Let's get his ears. And his little hands. All right. And finally, to finish off this cute little elf, we're going to take some Wink of Stella and we're going to put some on his cap here where the white is. All right. And there we have it. There is our elf. Okay. Now we have a coordinating die for that. So we just get this little elf guy. And then we're going to run him through the die cut machine. And then we have this. Okay. Now for that tree, I told you I was crazy. And I don't mind fussy cutting. So I cut out the tree. And we're going to use that. Now let's go ahead and prepare our the front of our box. We're going to take this. And you just need a torn piece of paper. So just get any piece of paper, tear your edge. And then we're going to take this and some Pool Party ink and a blending brush. And I'm going to put some of this along here. Then I'm just going to turn it a bit. Go back again. Turn some more. Move it over a bit just so that it looks a little different. Okay. Move this over here. Okay. And we'll go back. Put this down like this. Oops, it's going to start moving on me. I should have put it on my silicone mat. I was doing good till I got to the bottom. If you put this on your silicone mat, it doesn't move. And actually, I'm good with this. I'm actually just going to leave that now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with this. And I'm just going to put some Pool Party at the bottom there. So this is our background piece. A little bit of ink and a little bit of paper. Okay. Then we're going to take the snowflake, this little snowflake image from the Festive Friends. And again, I'm going to use Pool Party ink. And a piece of scrap paper here. And I'm going to stamp that down. And we'll stamp. I'm just going to randomly stamp this. Turn your stamp, turn your paper. Okay, so that's what we have. All right, so now our pieces are ready and we're ready to build our box. So let's go ahead and set this aside along with these and this. And let's bring in our piece of thick basic white. Again, this is 4 inches by 9 inches. We're going to start on the 4-inch side, and we're going to score this at 1 inch on each end. So you could do 1 inch and 3 inches, but if I didn't cut it perfect and I do 1 inch and 1 inch from each end, then it won't matter. Okay, it'll still be the same distance. Okay, so then on the 9-inch side, we're going to do that at 1 inch and 4 inch and flip it 180, then 1 inch and 4 inch, and that is our box. Okay. So now we just need to fold and burnish on all the score lines. Okay. This is going to be a clamshell box. So we're going to take and cut up on all of these little rectangles. Cut up on the large rectangle straight, angle the squares to remove that score line. Cut up on the straight, on the large rectangle, angle cut the square, straight up on the large rectangle, angle cut the square, and then we're going to flip it 180 degrees and do that same thing again. And that will make our clamshell. Okay. These boxes really go together pretty quickly. Almost there, and there we are. Okay, so that is all of the trimming that we need to do. Now, let's go ahead and grab some liquid. I'm going to use liquid glue. And for these, I want to flip it over to the outside of the box because we're going to bring these in like so. Okay, so we're going to put these on the outside. Make sure that your glue goes right to the edge there so you don't get a gap, or right to the score line. You don't want to go over. Okay, and I'm going to do these 4 first. It doesn't matter which end you do first, because you're going to determine by which one you do which is going to be the top. So because I've done these 4, this is now going to be the bottom of my box, and this is going to be the top. Okay, so I'm going to start in the middle, fold that tab in, bring the cut line up to the score line, hold that for just a second till the glue grabs. If you use tear and tape, it'll grab instantly and you don't need to hold it. But the liquid glue is faster for me at the moment. So then I'm just going to do the same thing with the front of the box here, making sure that that's even. And then do that there. I might have got a little too much glue right at the edge there. You can alleviate that by letting that glue dry a little bit, and then you won't have to worry about that. Okay, so now we've got that. Now this becomes the top of our box. So I'm going to put this down. I'll put my glue in here, just like I did before, making sure that I get close to the score line. Okay. And then we're going to set this down on the top of our box. I'm going to lay that down on the table. I'm going to fold that down like so. Make sure everything's lining up the way I want it. Then I'm going to push this one down and bring this one around. And by doing it this way, then I know that my box top will fit over the bottom because these measurements are all the same. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to open and close that box. And if you were making just a regular clamshell box, you would want to put a finger notch in here with a small circle punch, but you're going to see why I'm not doing that at the moment. Okay, so we've got that. Finger got a little bit sticky. Now I'm going to bring in my box bottom. Okay, there's a definite outside and inside or top and bottom of these tags. So I want the bottom side, the back side of the tag up. And then I'm going to put some liquid glue here. Okay. And then this box bottom is going to go just below this little die cut. Okay. That's the way I designed it. So I'm going to center it side to side. Line that up just below. Make sure it's even here. My tips of my box are right at the corners there. Make sure to slide that right into place there. You see how that is? So it's just underneath that die cut. And those edges are right there. Okay, so that's the bottom of my box. Let's go ahead and just, I did my bone fold. Oh, it fell. I'm going to give that a good press with my bone folder. And then I'm going to repeat that process with this piece. Okay, so now I'm working on the top of my box. I'm going to turn that over. And again, I'm going to lay this right at the bottom of that die cut, that hole. Center it up as best as I can. Make sure that these line up like that. And because I'm using the liquid glue, I have a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, so there's my box. Making sure everything's nice and tight at the bottom there. Okay, so that it all stands up. Now, I should be able to open my box. Well, gotta let that sit for just a second, I guess. Do that. Get that in there. I wanted to be able to get in there and there we go. Then I can take and really get my bone folder in here and give that a good burnish on both the top and the bottom. Okay, now let's go ahead and decorate. We're going to take this little tree and we're going to very carefully put some glue, and I don't want to get carried away. It's a tiny little dot here and there. Okay. And we're going to put this down about right here. Just like so. Oh, I might want that to go up a bit. Yep, I definitely want it to go up a bit. Hang on. Let's go up here a little further. There we go. Yep, that's better. Okay, so we've got that. We take our little elf here. Some Stampin' Dimensionals. Remove those backings. Put our friendly little elf here, like so. Then we're going to take our sentiment, and I'm going to use the mini dimensionals for that. And we're going to stick this up here. Like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our embellishments and some ribbon. Oh, I don't know where I put my, where are my, hang on you guys, I'm not seeing my faceted snowflakes, which should be right here with these. Okay, well, let's get these, and then I'll see if I can find the faceted snowflakes real fast. Okay, so we're going to take a small little gold ball. I'm going to decorate my tree. I'm going to take a red one, put it there, and then we'll take another gold one. I'm going to come down and put it here, and then I'll take another red one. I'm going to lift Mr. Elfie's ear here and put that there, just so it looks like we've got our tree decorated. And then here's our faceted snowflakes. And I'm going to take one of these in the red. And no, I don't want a small one. I want a big one. And I'm going to put that at the top of our tree. Just like that. So now our tree is all decorated. And let's finish off our box. All right, so we're going to bring in some of the gold striped mesh ribbon. And I'm going to put this through the front there and through the back here. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Before I tie that up, I should grab some candies to put in there. So I've got a Milky Way and a Twix. Those are the little fun sizes. I'm just going to close that up. And then I'll put this through the front hole into the front of the back there. And then we're going to take this and cut it off like so. Set that aside. Then I'm going to take my reverse tweezers. I'm going to hold that together. I'm going to take the black and white and gold baker's twine. I'm using the white and gold. I'm going to tie me a nice bow here. Okay, I'm going to snip that off. And, oh, that did not work well. Look what I just did. Just untied it, taking that off. Not a good thing. Well, let's do it this way. I think I can just stand it up, means I already had that part done. Okay, so we've got that. And then I'll just trim these ends. And there is our Festive Friends treat box. I hope you like that. Appreciate you joining me tonight. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I go live. And I will be back here again next Thursday night at 7 p.m. with another project. And on Tuesday night, you can find me on my Facebook channel, K&T Designs by Teresa, at 7 p.m. All right. Hello, Jeanne. Nice to see you. Okay. Thanks so much, you guys. I appreciate you. If you need to purchase any of these Stampin' Up! Supplies, you can find them in my online store. I would truly appreciate your business. See you next week. Everybody have a happy and safe Halloween. Good night.